always exciting to come on Nigeria Superfans Forum to talk about the exploits of African footballers around the world. My name is Olafemi Ashalu, and today on the show, there's so much to talk about. Of course, we have 4 Africans in the semi-final of the UEFA Champions League. And of course, our own Samuel Chukwueze sent Bayern Munich packing. Samuel Chukwueze broke the heart of Bavarians on that wonderful night in Munich. Of course, today we'll be talking about the coaching situation as far as the Super Eagles of Nigeria is concerned. 4 names have been recommended to the Executive Committee of the Nigerian Football Federation by the Technical Committee. And of course, there is a latest development as far as the coaching situation, of course, is also concerned in Ghana regarding Otto Addo. Remember that he will be taking Ghana to the FIFA World Cup in Qatar in November. So once again, I welcome you on that platform. And Kayode Ogundare is very much in the studio. Kayode, how's it been? It's been a wonderful UEFA Champions League games this season.
Yeah, it's
highly unpredictable.
Very unpredictable. Very unpredictable. I mean, nobody saw the Villarreal Bayern Munich team coming. Even though, like we said the last time, Bayern Munich have not been too. They've not been there. They've not been Bayern Munich that we've come to know. But nobody saw that they were going to be clipped the way Villarreal clipped them.
Remember, we even said that Villarreal was going to get
roasted.
Arena.
Exactly, but nobody saw that coming. And you know what? The moment of brilliance for me was that sweet counter attack. That was devastating, and those are the moments you live for in football. It was something of delight. It was something I kept watching over and over again. That wow, it was just like similar to the Modric pass for Rodrigo's first goal for Madrid against Chelsea. Those are moments of magic that you cannot wish away. You cannot get tired of seeing over and over again. So for me, those are the highlights of the Champions League.
Okay, before we continue, 4 Africans, Chukwueze, Naby Keita, Mohamed Salah, and Sadio Mane in the UEFA Champions semi-finals.
Actually, we are talking about 5 now. You are forgetting Riyad Mahrez.
Oh!
Or is it no longer African? Is it no longer African?
5 Africans. Wonderful.
And I want to believe at least one of them will be on the winning team at the end of the day. It's good for African football, like I said. Yeah, why not? If you believe in magic, why not?
It's a city of 50,000 people.
It is very possible.
Commentator said the population of Villarreal can fit into the stadium of Bayern Munich.
Yes, exactly.
75,000 capacity.
So for me, that's the magic of football, that is not predictable. It's so, because when you can predict that this is going to happen, then it's no longer football. It's no longer sports. The suspense is no longer there. But now, you know what? Like I told somebody when we were discussing this after the Liverpool game, I said, you know what? Any of these 4 teams have shown that they can win it. You can grade them in order of pedigree, but never say never. It is anybody's game.
Okay, a certain Giuseppe Serro, Philippe Coco, Laurent Blanc, and of course, we're talking about former Barcelona coach Ernesto Valverde. Those 4 names have been submitted to the NFF by the technical committee to look into. At least one of them will be appointed as the new technical advisor of the Super Eagles of Nigeria. Which of the 4 do you think it will be? We'll be back to talk about that. Please stay with us. Welcome back, and it's still Nigeria Superfans Forum. Kayode, before we went on that break, we revealed that the 4 names of the coaches that have been recommended to the NFF for at least one of them will be appointed as the new technical advisor for the Super Eagles of Nigeria. And one of our ardent followers, Mr. Certified, has raised a very important point. He said Jose Pacero doesn't speak English, and that is a red flag for him as far as that is concerned. But of course, the NFF president, I'm talking about Melvin Pinnick, seems to be pumped up about Jose Pacero coming to take the job, because he said that, remember, he was on the verge of being appointed before, of course, Eguavoen took the Super Eagles of Nigeria for the playoff. Kayode, let's look at the 4. Should that be a major criteria?
Honestly, it shouldn't. Like I've said,
you're saying it shouldn't?
It shouldn't, and I will tell you why. First and foremost, 99% of the Super Eagles players play in Europe. About 60-65% of that 99% play in non-English speaking leagues. They play under managers who don't speak English, and they are able to communicate. So football is universal. It speaks one language. That's one. Then in cases where we've seen coaches who do not speak English at national team level, this has happened before. as long as you have a very good interpreter who can interpret whatever it is you say to the players, fine, it will be awkward, but hey, it's done. And I remember when...
Would the interpreter be able to communicate effectively?
Why not?
Effectively.
Jose Mourinho's first job at Barcelona was as interpreter. And he stood in the gap between Robson and the players. He was the one interpreting in English as whack as his English was at that time, because he brushed his English up by the time he came to England. As whack as his English was at that time, he was able to effectively communicate what the coach is saying to the players, and everybody they got along fine. So for me, that in itself is not enough. Fine, it would have been better if you have a coach who speaks good English. When Fabio Capello went to England, he wasn't that good with his English. Even by the time he left, his English was still tattered, if I can say that. But like I said, that in itself is not a turn off. It would have been good if your coach speaks your language, if you are able to communicate one-on-one. But if you cannot, that in itself is not a problem.
So
language is not a problem. Me, it is about merit, about what does it bring to the table. Can he do this job? If he's able to do the job, regardless of the language he speaks, football has one universal language. It's about the tactics, getting his tactics spot on.
Okay.
Getting his tactics one for me. Then two, getting his temperament right.
That's okay.
Yeah, it is okay, because sometimes when you have a manager that's hot-tempered and has carved a bad boy image for himself, it gets on it rubs the referees, the officials the wrong way, and they sometimes take it all on your team. It's happened several times. That's why any team managed by Mourinho, he will always tell you the referees are against us. No, they are against him, but it rubs off on his team. So that's why you have to look at a coach who is merit-driven, who has merit, who is...
And the same Mourinho recommended
Parceiro. So I'm wary of taking on a Parceiro now, whether he's cut from the same cloth like
so
Mourinho.
So Mr. Certified is still one way or the other.
Yeah. So you look at the guy's pedigree, what he brings to the table, his temperament is also key. Then you have to also look at one thing, Femi, that the process that is going to bring up any manager that you're going to accept will be merit-driven. If the process is corrupt, then there's no way you get a manager that is good. That's the truth, because you want to cut corners.
Okay, 1 minute, Kayode, out of these 4 names for you, who, if you were to pick by pedigree, by what they've done, what they've achieved in football, who would it be? We have a Parceiro, we have a Felipe Cocu, we have a Ernesto Valverde, and we have a certain Laurent Blanc.
Seriously, let me ask you a question first. At what point did we all sit down to agree that a Nigerian should be out of the equation?
Of course, we know a lot of people have also called for perhaps the NFL should consider something Siasia Kayode. But the NFL president, at least within the few months that his tenure will expire in office, he said, I can guarantee we are getting the foreign coach. So that automatically nullifies so no Siasia, okay, no Sunday Odyssey, no whoever.
Based on their pedigree, the problem, let me not say, you know why Parceiro will be an attraction for me, is that Cocu, Valverde and Blonde, they've not had the experience of national team coaching. And if you've not, see, football at the national team level and at club side, they are two different things. So Parceiro has an advantage. You are shocked I'm saying this. I'm not nominating him here. I'm just saying he has an advantage because he has done this.
You have this ability to prophesy, but you've not really...
I'm not prophesying now. I'm just putting all the facts on the table. That Parceiro has had the advantage. He has coached in South America. Yeah. So he has coached at club level and national team level. So he knows the difference. He knows the expectations. So that gives him an edge over the other three.
And according to Pinnick, he was able to use Wild Scout.
Femi, excuse me. Do not get me started. Do not get me started. In 2010, I was at the National Stadium in Abuja when Las Lagabak was presented to the public as our coach going to the World Cup in 2010. I was right there. The then NFF executive All of them, I'm not singling out anyone. All of them said he came with a PowerPoint presentation. He bowed them over. He knew our players, all left, right, and center, only for us to get to the World Cup. And this guy started giving us all sorts of strange formations that we have never seen before then. It took us back. So now, be very careful when somebody tells you that this person knows us. He just no. That's trying to sell ice to Eskimos. We are not taking that.
Okay, Kayode, that takes me to the same question.
Okay.
As the tenure of Amadi Pinnick in office is actually winding down now, what kind of NFL president are we looking at? We don't even know those who will contest. I don't know if you will be contesting because you've not told me. I've not heard anything.
I'm still waiting to hear the voice.
But what kind of NFL president should we be looking at currently?
First and foremost,
remember the election is coming up in September.
First and foremost, Femi, we need an NFF president that respects rules and regulations, that respects the law. We need an NFF president that is not stained by any hint of corruption. We need an NFF president that is willing to allow others to do their jobs. We need an NFF president that his temperament is calm enough to sit back and say, you know what, I do not know all. Defer to other opinions. Do not say to yourself as King Nebuchadnezzar that you know everything. Those are the kind of qualities I think we should be looking for in that. But when you have an NFL president that does the job of a national team coach, the job of a chief scouting officer, the job of a chief marketing officer, when we have structures on ground to do all of this, then that is the problem that we have with the current NFL president. And one other thing, we need an NFL president that has the drive of Pinnick. I'll give that to him. He has the drive. How he has used that drive is open to interpretation. But we need the kind of drive. Yes, we need this kind of drive. We need this can-do spirit. You know what? Pinnick is the kind of person that will tell you, you know what, we can cross the river on foot, and it's going to lead you to cross it. How he does that, what he stands to gain by crossing the river on foot, I don't want us to go into that because that's not the subject of this discussion now, Femi. We have time to talk about those when we do an analysis of his term in office. But now we need that spirit that he has in our next NFF president. But first and foremost, we need somebody who respects rules and regulations.
Okay, I think we have to persuade Kayode to please run for the office of the NFF. I'm willingly buy the phone for because politicians in Nigeria, they have people buying phone for them. Let's talk about the coaching situation in Ghana now.
Right.
News coming from Dortmund is saying that after consulting with Borussia Dortmund, an agreement has been reached for Otto Addo and the Ghanaian interim coach now to sign a new contract with Ghana until the end of the year. That means he will be taking Ghana to the World Cup. That is certain.
You know one thing. I'm not sad to say that I'm in love with the current Ghana FA. The way they've handled the coaching situation, especially after the debacle at the AFCON. I'm not saying they're perfect, but you see this issue of Otto Addo, they've handled it professionally. You know what? The contract was to see them through the playoff, which he did. Now they sat down and said, you know what? From now to the end, the next stage is the World Cup. See us through the World Cup. Then we now sit down and evaluate. Because if they had signed a long-term 4 or 5 years contract with him now, and at the World Cup, things go belly up, they don't do well.
Even worse than
the AFCON. Now they are stuck with the coach for 4 years that they will not know what to do with. You understand? And because they have to respect his contract. But now at the end of the World Cup, they will evaluate and say, you know what, even though you didn't win the World Cup for us, but we are satisfied with what you have been able to do in this X amount of time, you know what, continue. Or now, let's sit down and do another contract. This is what they call a rolling contract. I mean, I am so much in love with it, and it's the way for us to go in Africa.
Maybe our own incoming NFF administration can also buy.
I love it. I love it.
So would you support like the short contract for the new technical advisor for the Super Eagles of Nigeria? Maybe like 2 years just to...
Yeah.
Rather than give 4, 5 years.
Yes, exactly. Normally, I think a 2-year contract is the standard that they get. Raw got a 2 years the first time. It got renewed. And they kept renewing and everything. So I think a 2-year contract is not too much. But for me, taking everything into consideration, all things being equal, I expect us to qualify for the AFCON. So if you're going to get a coach, now get a coach that will get us between now and the end of the qualifiers for the AFCON. If at the end of the qualifiers for the AFCON, we are able to make the AFCON, you now sit down, write another contract for him. But if you are going to, even the 2 years may be too long. If the worst happens and we do not get to the AFCON. But I will prefer, they can be there that, okay, well, probably if you meet this target, the next phase is automatically triggered. I think that's a safe place to be for the FA. And I think that's the way we should be going.
Okay. So let's quickly go on this very short break. We'll be back to talk about, of course, the Ghanaian Premier League. This weekend is going to be Aduana Stars versus Ashanti Gold. That is the matchup. And of course, the Nigerian Professional Football League. And of course, we'll be looking at African players who will be in action this weekend. Please stay with us. Welcome back, and it's still Nigeria Super Fans Forum. In case you do not know, the qualifier for the 2023 Africa Cup of Nations will kick off in June. So it is right here, and that is why, of course, the Nigerian Football Federation, they're really intensifying the effort to getting a new technical advisor for the Super Eagles of Nigeria. Kayode, let's talk about the match of the week in the Ghanaian Premier League. It's been very attractive. Last week we talked about the derby between Ashanti Kotoko, of course, and the Heart of Oak. This weekend is going to be, you said it's Aduana. Yes. Aduana Stars versus Ashanti Gold. Of course, Aduana, they are third on the table. Why Ashanti Gold? They are ninth on the table. Kayode, what should we be looking out for?
You see, the thing about one thing you cannot take away from Ghanaian teams is, like I said, they have this attractive kind of football that they play, that whatever teams you watch, even the team at the basement, they will give you attractive football. They may not see, like in all leagues, there's a disparity between the powers of clubs. There's a category that you put the Ashanti Kotoko, the Ghana Heart of Oak, the what do you call it, the Great Olympics, and there's another set in between and the basement teams. But the fact that these teams are 9th and 3rd on the league tells you something. Aduana Stars will try as much as they can, and I can bet you that they will try as much as to topple. Yes, they are trying. No,
okay, so the table now.
Yeah, they want to get into the top two. They want to get into the top two because that's where you are guaranteed continental football. So and they
have 5 points separating them from
exactly
we're talking about Beckham United.
Yes, Beckham. So that's the goal now. The immediate goal is get into the top two. You are guaranteed that you are going to play continental football next season, and that's the goal. So if they get to play this team and they win, they would have cut short the lead that Beckham has over them. And I think these are teams that they are new generation teams. They are not the traditional teams. The traditional teams are the ones we talked about earlier. But I think they are good enough, and they are good enough to get the 3 points.
Okay, let's talk about.
Don't ask me the scoreline. I'm not going to say that.
Maybe you've not seen this. I know they are Ashanti. Okay, you've not seen this.
I've not.
They've not shown to you, right?
No, they will bring it
in the course of in the course of. Okay, Akade, let's talk about the MPFL. Okay. The game of the week in Nigeria is Rivers hosting Enyimba. Of course, last week we hope that it's going to be the sign of good things to come for Enyimba. Remember, they came from a goal down, and of course defeated
the Rangers in
Aba. Now, Rivers, of course, they displaced Plateau United after Plateau drew away to Kwara United. Kyle, the Rivers Enyimba, what's your expectation?
I expect a Rivers victory. Rivers have been the best team in the league this season. They've taken points incredibly from places you never thought they are going to take. It speaks to the strength of the team. They've taken more points on the road than any other team. They are like 8 above everyone. It also speaks to what Fidelis Ilechukwu has done with Plateau United, that they are running neck and neck. But player for player, Rivers have the better team. Now they are playing at home in Port Harcourt against Enyimba. That's Enyimba playing 2 big games back to back. But the truth is, I think Rivers will take this.
So it will be another challenge for Finidi George, another order for him
to cross. And I do not envy him. I do not envy him. But this, I do not see him crossing this. Honestly, I don't.
Okay, Plateau will want to get back to winning ways. And
exactly.
MFM this year, I think the fire has refused to fall on the mountain for MFM.
But they've not done too well,
yeah.
but in recent games they are trying frantically to get out of that drop zone, and you have to give credit to where it is the new guy in charge having sacked their previous manager because he wasn't doing too well. He has tried his baby. I just hope it is good enough to keep them up, because if we do not, if MFM goes down, that means there won't be Premier League football in Lagos. Which for me, I knew how long we stayed like 10 years without a Premier League team in Lagos before they came in 2016 or thereabout. I don't want a reoccurrence of that. We've seen that they have been able to bring all the top teams to Lagos because they are in the league.
They are in Lagos. Continental football.
Yes,
continental football.
God bless you, and continental football too. So whatever it takes, I think the owners, the managers of MFM, they have to rejig their operating manual. The team there's something they are not getting right. They have to start getting it right so that the team will stay up.
A lot of people have said the MFM started a fortune when Electrical left. But let's cross over to Europe and talk about the FA Cup semi-final. It's going to be a repeat of what we saw last week between Manchester City and Liverpool. Kayode, our African players, Riyad Mahrez will be against Mane, Salah, and Naby Keita. What do you expect now? Is it going a win has a match now? You can't be a draw. A win has a match. So Kayode, it's going to be another cracking game.
Yeah, it will, and the winner will be by the odd goal, 1-0, 2-1.
In favor of
Liverpool.
Take that to the bank as far as Kayode. Sure? Once it is Kayode, I can assure you, take that to the bank. Okay, let's go about the other semi-final. Chelsea, they were heartbroken in the Champions League against Real Madrid, and they will want to make a statement. They'll be playing against a Crystal Palace that have left a lot of people, impressed this season, particularly with what Patrick Vieira is doing. And of course, Andre Ayew, remember, he scored his first goal of the season against the Arsenal in that 3-0 win. So, and of course, we have very pressed the Ivory Coast international team.
You know one thing, Femi, I've always said that a team embodies the character of the manager. In Crystal Palace this season, you've seen the fearlessness of Vieira when he was playing. That's even when they are beaten, when you are beating them, you will still find out that this team, they play without fear. So that is where they are very, very dangerous. That's where I think Chelsea must be very, very wary. Chelsea cannot afford to start this game slowly because it's just this leg. So if they start it slowly and they get knocked out by the soccer point, it may be difficult for them to recover. But all in all, I think Chelsea have the advantage.
But will you be giving Palace any chance?
They have a chance, but not as bright as Chelsea's.
Okay, let's talk about the Premier League. I see Premier League games. Let's talk about Watford, Brentford. Not a very good season for Nigerian contingent.
Tell me something.
Of course, I can literally sit down here and write and know who will be starting or who will be in the market.
Exactly.
Particularly for AFCON, there's been news that he's been linked away to the MLS Kayode. But generally, the table maybe might be going back to the championship club that he came on from. So generally, Kayode, it's not been good for a Nigerian contingent at Watford. They will be hosting Brentford.
You know, my as much as I recognize and understand what they are going through at Watford, my do I say his anger is that despite the fact that the team is not doing well, the manager doesn't still see them good enough to include in his team. That's where the problem is. Yeah, there are enough reasons why some of them have not been in the team. Injury to a table, this one has not been formed. So we have to look at all of those. And the first thing is survivor. They want to stay up. Brentford is safe, and I'm happy for Frank Onyeka that they are safe, at least for this season. They are safe, and they've done enough to be safe. It's not because of one game. It's what they've been able to do over the course. Over the course of the season. Don't forget that they started with Arsenal, that famous win over Arsenal. They've beaten Arsenal. They've beaten Chelsea. That's to tell you that they have strength in depth. And for me, I'm happy for Frank Onyeka. At least next season, he can consolidate on what he has been able to achieve this season, being his first season in the Premier League. Coming to England is not a tea party. Therefore, Watford, I want Watford to survive first before we talk about where our players will play next season, Femi.
We should not put the cart before.
There is a battle for survival. So whoever is going to play even if they have to go and borrow players to play and survive.
Which is not allowed.
So let them survive first, then we'll now talk about who is going where among our players.
Okay, Kyle, our producer is already asking us
to get out of the studio.
Let's talk about Lazio Torino. Why I'm bringing this up is Olaino played his first game for Torino in 2022. In that, it was in action for 27 minutes against AC Milan last weekend, and they played 0-0. Let's talk about Olaino, Kyle.
Well, Olaino has been is somebody I saw grow to this level. It's somebody I think who has not been able to realize his enormous potential. Olaino is the only player who I know who can play. Who is one of the very few players who I know who can play in the back four conveniently. He can slot in any of those back four. He can play in 2 and 3 and the center 5 and 6 conveniently. And the ease with which he plays, it speaks about to his talent. But he hasn't been too fortunate. You see, going yo-yo after he left Chelsea, going to Torino, coming back to Fulham, going back to Torino, and all of this. I hope he finally settles down in one club and gets to face his career well. That's what I would say about him for now.
Okay, so sorry, so much to talk about, but time is always not our friend when we come on the show. Don't worry, by the time we return, to talk about the review of the matches. Of course, we'll be talking more about what our African brothers were able to do in the games that they were involved in. Of course, we've read out the names of the coaches that have been recommended by the NFF Technical Committee. Which of them would you really fancy for the Super Eagles of Nigeria? Kyle, once again, thank you for coming.
It's my pleasure.
Yeah, even though Kyle, they said Man City, Liverpool, what was your...
I say 1-0-2-1.
In favor of
Liverpool.
Of Liverpool. So Kyle is tipping.
Why are you repeating it? You're trying to put me on the spot.
So that when we return, our viewers, they would know who actually
Okay.
So this is where we'll be ending the show today. And once again, thank you to our producer for always being there for us. And to you, please don't forget to keep subscribing to our YouTube channel. And please keep your comment coming. I personally promise you that on Monday, or when we return, we will read some of your comments. Like I said, the Super Eagles of Nigeria did the Super Eagles job. Which of these 4 coaches would you fancy? Until then, have a wonderful Easter celebration.
Yeah, I was going to say that.
Enjoy yourself.
Happy Easter.
Happy Easter.
Okay.
Bye for now.